Hello, guys. Good morning, and welcome to our virtual science classroom for another day full of reviewing and learning. I hope this video finds you well and everyone is healthy and happily at home. Um, Before we go ahead and get started with the lesson, or even with the do now, I did want to just thank you guys for watching the videos, also for partaking in the comment conversations. It makes me happy to hear what you guys are up to, whether you're playing like Miguel and Josue, or sleeping like Rodrigo Rodriguez and Josue, or moving kind of like Alvaro, who's moving right now, or maybe doing nothing and just enjoying just peacefulness like Natalie, TikToking like Allison, or video gaming like Angel and Jose. I'm glad to hear what all of you are doing. I had a couple of questions because a lot of you, when you write the comments, your names come out. But I'm sure some of you are using the account of a parent or a sister or a brother, whatever the case is. If your name doesn't come out when you put a comment, can you write your name on there so I know? I know there's someone who's been putting comments under the name Leticia MTC, and I have no idea who that is. So if you are putting comments under that person, please put your name under your comment as well. Also, I Husky. I have no idea who you are, I Husky, but I like that you're participating as well. If you could put your name after your comment or during or in your comment so I know who you are. That way I can give you the shout outs. All right, let's go ahead and get started today with our do now. Today, our do now is what have you been reading? Now, I understand that reading may not be our favorite activity. And to be quite honest, reading was not my favorite activity when I was in like fourth grade. But uh, it's very important to read. And reading is really fun if you get into it. The thing is that you have to know what to get into. For example, I wasn't a big fan of reading, but what I really enjoy doing is reading a book and then watching a movie or the show for that book. That is how I started loving reading. And that's what I would suggest that you guys do. Before you watch a movie or before you watch a show, look up to see if there's a book that you can read about that series or that movie and read it first. It's great to have your own mental imagination and then being able to see it on the TV or on the movies when we are able to go back to the movies. But that's how I found my love of reading. And I would like for you guys to also find your love for reading because reading is very, very interesting and it's very, very fun once you get to love it. And I know sometimes it's a little tough, but I do feel like we can all fall in love with reading, and I think we all should. For right now, what I have been reading is this book called Fire and Blood by one of my favorite authors, George R. R. Martin. Now, the reason I started reading his books is because there was a series that started coming out some years ago called A Game of Thrones. And he wrote the books way, way long before it became a series. So I decided to read the books before watching the series. I read the books, they were amazing. I watched the series, it's pretty good too. I don't recommend you guys watching it until you're 18 because it is R rated. But um, that's how I found my love for reading. And right now, this is a book that I'm reading. It's really interesting. It's about dragons, it's about knights and fights and betrayal, and it's really good. But it is also very, very long. It's like 700 pages long. I'm on page 504 right now. I think I'm missing 206 more pages to finish. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated with that and what book I read next. But for now, I would like to know what you are reading, whether you're getting into a website like Epic to get a book, or whether you have books at home. If you don't know, there are a lot of cool websites out there that are giving out free books, free virtual books. So if you don't have access to those, let me know so I can give you a link and you can go read books during your spare time. It is a good way to balance your time. All right, so go ahead and write down what you have been reading, whether it's books or even comic books or graphic novels. That also counts as well. Also, if you need a link to graphic novels, I have some links for those as well. whatever type of reading you want to do, let me know so I can send you the link and so you can get reading and balance out your life. Don't just read, don't just watch TV, don't just read, don't just play video games. Do a little bit of everything so that you can have a very balanced and very happy time during your quarantine. All right, so make sure you write in your comment what have you been reading or what would you like to read if you haven't gotten into reading yet. Now, today and tomorrow we'll talk about mixtures and solution. Today we're going to have a very short lesson on mixtures. Tomorrow we'll have a short lesson on solutions. And Friday you will have your weekly check. We're still doing one of those and it's in your packet. But don't get ahead of me. Let's go ahead and begin with mixtures. As we remember, mixtures are made up of two or more substances. They can be easily separated, and all substances maintain their physical properties. That's what makes mixtures mixtures, that they can separate them easily. A cereal bowl is a mixture because you can eat the raspberries first, or the chocolate chips first, or the cereal bits first. This batch of plastic bottles, is also a mixture because you can pick out the Ajax bottles first or the water bottles first. Crayons, you can pick out the green ones first. Or water and oil is a very famous mixture because it can be separated. It's made up of two or more substances, and the water is still water and the oil is still oil. All right, so whenever you make a mixture, three things happen. Number one, all of the components maintain their physical property. Nothing changes. If you look at the picture here, if you put the gummies with all these candies, the gummies are still gummies. The chocolate, it's still chocolate. The lollipop is still a lollipop. Their physical properties don't change. Their taste doesn't change. Their size doesn't change. Their what are their physical properties? Their taste, their size, their consistency. None of those things change. They're still visible. They don't dissolve. What they do instead is, number two, the components just rest together. In other words, they just sit there. They don't react with one another. And number three, the components could easily be separated. If I want to eat just the gummies, I'll pick out this red gummy right here. I'll pick out this sour looking gummy right here. I'll pick up this other sour looking gummy. I could easily do that in this mixture. Now, in order to separate mixtures, we do use certain objects to help us through these processes, because sometimes you have some mixtures and you have to separate them. They could be easily separated, but sometimes if we use some objects or some tools, they could be separated even easier. One of the objects that we can use are tweezers. These we can use to pick out small things like grains of rice or small rocks from a mixture. We can also use magnets. Magnets we can use if we want to take out all the magnetic things inside a mixture easily without having to pick them up one by one. If we have a jar full of iron nails and sand, or iron fillings and sand, better yet, we use a magnet to take out all the iron fillings. If not, imagine how long it would take you to pick out iron filling by iron filling amongst all the sand. It would take forever. So magnets just make your life easier. Next, we can use water. If we have a mixture made up of things that are more dense and less dense than water, if you put it all in water, the less dense than water objects will float to the top and you can just pick them up easily. And lastly, a sifter. We can definitely use a sifter in order to take away the really small particles like sand from other objects like rocks and coins and bigger objects like this. This is very useful to take sand out or other smaller particles within a mixture. And that ends our very quick review of mixtures. This is a work that you need to complete by today, Wednesday, April 1st. Yeah, today's our first day of April. So in your packet, you are going to complete pages 16 to 22. Make sure you show all of your work. Make sure you take pictures of your work and make sure you send it to me. After this, I want you to complete the package that is titled Blood. You're going to read about blood, read it carefully, and then answer the 5 questions at the end of the package. All right. After that, I am going to send you a link of 2 quizzes that you will need to complete today. I will be uploading those to GroupMe, so make sure you look out for the GroupMe messages look for those quizzes, click on those quizzes. Once you're in the page of each link, click on the green practice button to play that quizzes, right? Whenever you are done with all your work, please take a picture of it. If you can, also take a picture of your grade on quizzes. I forgot to ask that last time. So take a picture of the grade you got on quizzes and also send it to me with your passage and with your packet completed pages. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at my number that I provided multiple times, 915-999-5016. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day and stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.